feature is, I'm happy you're here first because I did know that this is a position you took. It's striking how few are willing to actually utter these words. I think Bernie was a big reformer in 2016, but whenever he would talk about public funding, it was something for the long term, something in the future. Do you think that the other candidates are actually not convinced of it, or what do you think the reason is we don't see this as the thing they talk about first?
So what would be easy for a Democrat to say would be something like, we need to repeal Citizens United or constitutionally overturn it. That would be a very high legal standard. It would be quite difficult. It's much easier to argue I'm like anti-corporate money than it is to say I just want to put more resources in the hands of everyday citizens. There's still like this very, very deep mistrust of people that's baked into a lot of our political discussion. And so I think that's one of the points of resistance for other politicians to say that the best solution is just to put more economic resources into the hands of voters.
Yeah, so this repeal of Citizens United, you're right. This is the central response that both Democrats and Republicans, remember even the president talked about super PACs as being an abomination for democracy. But the standard response is, let's find a way to overturn Citizens United so we can suppress the speech of all those. But that's a very different response to the kind of response you're talking about here, which is not about necessarily silencing, but it's about empowering other people to be relevant in the speech market.
Yeah, and the truth is, even if we were to somehow successfully overturn Citizens United, you know that the economic resources would still be in the same hands. It'd still be the same individuals, the same companies, and they'd find a way. It's like that. There's never been a time when they didn't at least find a way to somehow get access and influence. So if we were to put $100 into the hands of Americans, I did the math. I like math. And so it turns out that even if a minority of citizens were to use the $100, let's call it 30% of Americans would actually use the $100 to support their favorite candidate, it would still be a much larger sum than all of the corporate lobbying budgets combined.
Yeah, so that would change things dramatically. Okay, that's issue number one, and absolutely agreed, this is fundamental. Let's talk about issue two.